Okay. Here we are, going live stream. Um, this is my first live stream ever. Never done it before, so it's going to be a new experience. Hey, everybody. My name is Paul. I am, I guess, a YouTuber, a filmmaker, a TikToker. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I do all kinds of stuff. I love to go around my city and explore. I love to write. I love to make movies. And one of the other things that I love to do, that I've loved to do for my whole life, is play music and sing. So I thought maybe what would be a experience for my first live experience is to just play some music for you guys and tell some stories about songs I've written and how I wrote those songs and what they kind of mean to me. So um, yeah. So I think the first song that I'm going to play for you guys is a song called "Desert of Conformity." This song I wrote when I was about, I think, 17 or 18 years old. I'm now 39. I'm 39 now. So I wrote this song like 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. I wrote this song. I grew up listening to a lot of like folk music, a lot of Simon and Garfunkel, Peter, Paul and Mary, and um, and that music just really spoke to me. Songs like "Sound of Silence," "Puff the Magic Dragon," "Blowing in the Wind." A lot of folk acoustic music. So when I started writing music, it was a chance for me to sort of start exploring a lot of these folk themes that I had kind of grown up listening to. And this first song, "Desert of Conformity," is a song that sort of allowed me to sort of express that. I've always loved um, stargazing. I don't know if anyone out there also loves stargazing, but I remember um, as a younger teenager, I don't know if I was like 13 or 14 years old. Um, Long story short, I grew up in Africa, and there was one time when we were living in Sudan, and my family was fortunate enough to take a little vacation on the Red Sea, and I spent some time on a sailboat on the Red Sea. Total, euphoric experience. But I stayed up all night with a guy, and he showed me the constellations, and I learned about constellations and Greek mythology, and the stars have always amazed me. So I wrote this song, again, "Desert of Conformity." It was sort of thinking about the experience that different people have looking up at the stars, um, and 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 different themes. I know that for me as well. I don't know how many of you struggled in high school. I often struggled between wanting to fit in and wanting to maintain my own identity. So this song wrestles with themes like that. It wrestles with themes of, um, a brother and sister, a young child. What would they see looking up at the stars? There's a line where he sees a caged raven dance. She sees a puppet on a string. It was a chance for me to play with a bunch of lyrics as well, and play with, again, having grown up listening to Simon and Garfunkel, Peter, Paul and Mary. I love words and poetry and sort of the tapestry of it all. So this song that I'm about to play was the first song that I ever wrote. Well, it was one of the first songs that I ever wrote. It was one of the first songs that I ever wrote that I liked, that I still play today. And it basically looks at what is the experience of looking up at the stars. What is that experience for different people around the world? Yeah, so here it is, "Desert of Conformity." Light cascades upon your face And I know that soon I must leave this place. Explorers reach for lands so far out of reach. Waves crash and break upon the empty beach. Sun tears red to say goodbye. Lone soul looks towards the sky. In the desert of conformity, a man is parched with thirst, enacting every deed he could have done. His mind begins to burst. Discordant thoughts betray the soul. Escaping, he looks up, enamored as an angel on the path, descends to fill his cup. Lad and sister reading, decide put down their picture book. They walk out to the balcony and give the sparkle sphere a look. Perceiving depths of dawn inside the soul, the weave in everything. She sees a caged raven dance, he sees a puppet on a string. Lady sighs her life away, the stars awaken one by one, paint the picture of a mother, loving, protecting her young. Within a jungle sits a man who fears what he can't see. He wants to destroy the heavens of his bane for all eternity. Taking heated metal, raising hands towards the sky, he cries, I gave my life toward your death, yet still you will not die. A mind tormented by inhabitants must throw them on the page. Emancipating chambers, demons will return another day. His bed is dandelion blue, his head is crowned with hay. This rises to the golden laughter of the sun, which greets this brand new day. There it is, Desert of Conformity. So again, I wrote that song when I was like 17, 18. I was in high school. I wrote that in grade 12, and I'm now 39. So that song's about 20 years old. Welcome for any of you who just joined. My name is Paul. This is my first live stream ever, so it's going to be a little bit bumpy. We'll get through it together. But yeah, what I'm doing today is I'm playing some music that I've written kind of throughout the years, and I'm telling stories about the songs that I've written and what was happening in my life at the time, maybe, and what the songs kind of mean, what they mean to me, and what they've meant throughout the years. I know that the funny thing about songs, I mean, I think that we know this of songs that we listen to. They tell us something about ourselves. They capture sort of a moment in time. And the neat thing about writing music is I know that I've in a way kind of written the soundtrack to my life. These songs are not famous, they're not well-known songs, but for me, they're like companions that have meant different things to me at different times. Um, so yeah, that's the first song. That's Desert of Conformity. Let's keep clipping along here because we've got a couple songs to get through. I'm gonna just again, this is my first live stream, so I'm gonna do this. I don't know, maybe for an hour. See how it goes. Yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a nerve-wracking experience wanting to be live because I'm so used to like filming a video and editing it and getting to spend a lot of time with it, do multiple takes. Um, but it's cool to also just be here and be present and be real um, and just drink a coffee. This is a delicious coffee. Mm, um, I also don't know anything about live features. Is there like a chat feature? Maybe not. I'll just keep playing music. I'll keep going. Try to keep this as entertaining as possible for you guys. Thank you everyone for everyone who's joined. This is it's super exciting. Yeah, to be maybe you guys spend a lot more time on live than I do. I don't spend a lot of time on live, so this is really cool to just be here in this moment, sharing a moment with you guys. So the next song is called Frost Gathers. And again, I wrote this sort of in high school. This is sort of the period of the first few songs that I ever wrote. So like I said earlier, I was sort of heavily influenced by Simon and Garfunkel and Peter, Paul and Mary, like folk music growing up. So my first songs feel very, when you start writing music, when you start doing anything, you kind of have training wheels on and you're discovering your voice by, I think, trying to walk parallel, trying to create parallel to someone else. You know what you like, so you try to like make something that sort of emulates what you like. So yes, this song sounds a lot like Simon or Garfunkel, but it's not. It's an original song. Yeah, I wrote this in the winter of 20 odd, whatever, 2000 something, early 2000s. And I was living in Kitchener Waterloo at the time, which is sort of outside of Toronto, kind of near Toronto in Ontario. I was going to school there. I was going to not a boarding school, but I was boarding with someone. I wasn't living with my family at the time. I was living with someone else to be able to go to school at the high school that I went to, Rockway Mennonite Collegiate. Shout out Rockway. Um, and it was winter, and I remember sitting in the bedroom that I had. It's on the second floor of this old, 100-year-old building, in Waterloo, in Kitchener Waterloo, and the window was getting frosty in the winter, and the moon was shining through the window, and I was, inspired. It was at a time when I was starting to kind of learn about writing music, and I thought, oh, that's a good inspiration. I'm also, I think I'm a bit of a romantic, so it's a bit of a romantic song as well. This is Frost Gathers. Frost gathers on my window pane, allowing only prismed light, and like a blanket in the rain, I find my shelter in the night. The windows speak too loud to hear, betraying murmurs of the street, reflecting whispers in my ear, softening voices mirrored sweet. The moon spies through the looking glass, its pale light shining on my face. I view the remnants of the past. Another time, another place. My third eye floats upon a plain of velvet green and skies of blue. A scent tips in from far away. It is the flowing smell of you. That was Frost Gathers. Yeah. Again, I was saying kind of earlier, songs are kind of neat. They're like a companion, you know, and that one's kind of short and sweet, and I can pull it out anytime I want to sort of think or sit into my feelings or feel. I mean, I feel like a lot of music that I write ends up being a little bit melancholy, um, which helps me sort of acknowledge the melancholy within me. A lot of things we can't articulate um, unless it's sort of through music. Um, mhm. Okay, let's keep clipping along here. This is great. This is going good. Okay, um, yeah, around the same period. I mean, really, what happened is when I started writing music, kind of later on in high school. I once I got going, I really got going. I got very excited. I tend to have a little bit of like shiny thing syndrome, whereas when something gets exciting for me, I go for it. I go all in. So that's sort of what I did with music writing. So this is also from the same time period. This song is called Philiptic, um, and it is sort of I guess it's a little bit, maybe a bit more inspired by sort of Bob Dylan, um, and you know, I also at that same like I said, I grew up listening to Simon and Garfunkel, Peter, Paul and Mary, Paul Simon, a lot of folk music. But then there was also, you know, you get into sort of Bob Dylan and well, it's also folk. But what happened in sort of grade 11 and 12 is I got into hip hop as well. You know, really got into. There is an artist in Canada called Chaos. Um, and he really inspired me a lot. He was sort of from the Toronto area and was very philosophical in his music. I also was listening to a lot of like Outkast, um, a little bit of Tupac, um, but you know, sort of trying to meld that with sort of the wandering folk acoustic feel that I really liked, is where sort of this song came out. This Philiptic song. This Philiptic song is yeah, it's really about um, I guess in a way it's about mental health. I mean, it's really before I was really thinking a lot about mental health. Again, this is sort of the early 2000s, and wasn't giving a lot of thought to my own mental health or the mental health of a lot of others. But this is sort of an exploration of how we look at people who um, I've often been really interested in how, you know, you have this idea of like round peg, square hole. Two people read the same thing, watch the same movie, experience the same moment, and they interpret it two completely different ways. And we sort of have what we think of as like acceptable ways of interpreting information, and we have things that we think are more unacceptable ways of interpreting information, you know. Um, and we, at least when I was growing up, you know, thinking a lot more about sort of madness and insanity and people that are living on the brink or have sort of been pushed over the edge. So this song kind of explores that and tries to explore that in the context of, I don't know, in a way, it doesn't really give words to it, but in a way, looking at like what would a modern day prophet look like? Again, I'm a Christian. I was raised Christian, so growing up thinking about, I don't know if anybody knows about John the Baptist, but he was this guy who lived before Jesus, and he sort of paved the way. But he was also this guy who lived out in the desert and like ate locusts, and he was. A lot of people thought he was like dirty, crazy. Don't listen to him. And I have always been kind of curious about people like that. What does people that we think of as mad or crazy or insane or whatever, what do they have to teach us? What is their experience? Because we, people who sort of walk a bit of a straight and narrow path or try to, we do kind of cut ourselves off from a lot of other thoughts and experiences. So this isn't like a judgment call in any way. This is a song I wrote when I was like 17, 18 years old. But it still kind of, it speaks to me and it allows me to express a part of myself. This song is called Philiptic. Yo, sit back, relax, and let me tell you a tale about emancipating minds, sailing stormy gales. Imagine, if you will, with these words woven in, a sweet, succulent story about to begin. This is where we meet a philiptic, write messages encrypted, fictitious and ecliptic, the public's analytical son, with a gun, 40 million miles from outer space. He's at the grace of his emaciated face, taking bacon, shaking, raking in the trash. He's got a stash, these spit-till phrases that amazes patrons of the marketplaces. Maybe something like this. Trippin' talking on my locker, gotta knock a sucker in the block, cause I do not be knowing if he's coming or he's going. Folks be showing, singing, ringing, trinket-tinging, everything inside the world. Sails unfurled, the treasure, rubies, and the pearls are in your mind. Realize that I despise the maker of these lies of blinds of public size. I know I do not count myself among the wise. Now I'm gonna sing to you about everything that's true inside the blue skies. No, I don't know his name, but to me it's all the same. Where we're going or where we're from, the future or the past begun. None, 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 none. He leaves town, frowned upside down. The whirlwind comes from all around him, seeing everything inside the light. Outside his day, it turns black, black night. He hears a rhyme spinning round in time, be like sun and moon and sky into this desert vibe. The jihad is on, boy, get your head enough. Evaporating, condensating, is it all just a bluff? Stop this stuff. This message distresses me, I confess I don't want to see it no more than before. I guess the soul man makes war, then they fight for the light, that love, rights against rights. Do they not see a recital that I might cast some light on the situation, cause racial integration, deter the saturation of universal nations, with funds from the sons of a mongering citizens. It's no wonder this blunder has caused the steps go asunder from the path that leads back to heavenly bliss. But what we're at, it seems more like a far-fetched wish. People are listening to this and canting as it missed. It's difficult to see an upraised passive fist, so raise your passive fist. No, I don't know his name, but to me it's all the same. Where we're going or where we're from, the future or the past begun. No, I don't know his name, but to me it's all the same. Where we're going or where we're from, the future or the past begun. Scatterbrained minds, increasingly hard to find, winded dead at the side, where else in the buzz those scattered minds, increasingly hard to find. They wanted dead at the side, else in the dust left behind. To see what they see will be the envy of we. Maybe insanity could possibly be the key to setting trapped minds free from the enemy of illusion, misusing, abusing, losing from the snoozing all of their dreams. So anyway, the next day, the sun was casting her rays upon the faces and places of the desert wasteland. When a light caught her eye, she thought it strange and said, "Why, I have never seen a starry light out of the sky." If an epiphany moment occurred to you, would you frown? Or would you drop all your things and head straight out of town? It takes two to mate, more to hate. But surely as God exists, it takes one to create. The man was never seen again by the road or river bend. But something occurred to answer the sun's question, why? For upon the next night there was a new star in the sky. So that was Philiptic. Sorry, I messed up in the middle there. I looked at the chat. This is my first live stream ever, so figuring it out, gotta learn to not look at the chat, I'm in the middle of the song, because it'll, skip me. We've got different people on the chat. I don't know how to, man, again, sorry guys, this is my first live stream. I'm just learning all the controls. I feel like, I guess they do have like a test options, but let me just see. We can do all kinds of stuff. I feel like it's maybe better if I just do the thing that I wanted to do. Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. Man, my mind is blanking right now. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate people sitting here joining me for this moment. Like I said earlier, my name's Paul, and I do all kinds of things. I like to, obviously, I like to make videos. I like to explore my city. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I love to explore the city, go on adventures, try new things. And something I've loved to do for my whole life is play music. And when I was a teenager, I started writing music, and so this is a chance, my first live stream ever, to play some of the music that I've sort of written throughout my life and tell stories about that time of my life and what these songs mean to me. So that song was called Philiptic, and it was a chance again for me to sort of explore, a lot of issues, mental health sort of being one of them. And then there's also some sort of philosophical, ideas in there as well. Let's, again, keep moving right along. So right after high school, I went to stay with a friend at his cottage. And I don't know what post high school was for a lot of you folks, or if any of you have experienced that. I don't know if people are in high school or where you're at in your life journey, but for me, graduating from high school was this moment where I felt like I lived my whole life in a chimney, and for the first time I was sort of poking my head out and I could see the world. And sitting, spending some time with my friends on this lake, this cottage on this lake, I was just struck by sort of the beauty and the serenity of it all. So I wrote this song called Lake with a Million Diamonds. Again, this is sort of playing into my roots, sort of having grown up listening to sort of folk music, Simon and Garfunkel. Again, this song sounds very much like Simon and Garfunkel, but it's not. It's an original. This song is called Lake with a Million Diamonds, and it was sort of written just after high school at a friend's cottage. Just thinking about nature, thinking about the world, thinking about friendship, Yeah, and what that all means and meant. I'm someone who I grew up around the world. I'm a third culture kid, actually. So I was born in Manitoba, and I spent a good chunk of my childhood, most of my childhood, I spent overseas. I spent in Africa. I lived in Zambia and Sudan, and then I sort of went to high school in Ontario. So I've always so throughout my life, I've sort of there's just been this tension of wanting to fit in and feel at home, but then also wanted to claim my own identity, Um, so every so often, I do feel very accepted and at home and at peace, and I feel kinship and brotherhood with people. And this was one of those moments. This was a moment when I really felt at peace with a group of friends. I felt very accepted. Um, and when I feel accepted, a part of me rests. And I really experience beauty all around. So this song is called "Lake with a Million Diamonds." There's a lake with a million diamonds in it. They say it's the reflection of the sun. But still I stand in awe of the splendor of it all. What it seems reflections can become. Well, I bow my head to the tapestry of nature. I bow my head to the beauty of this place. After all we've killed and washed away, the leaves still remain. I can't help but think this is grace. So let's raise a glass, do a dance and drink to the times we've had today. We'll take care of tomorrow. Sing and smile for a while. We're all alone until the boat will come to take me home. Well, as the sun descends, it tears wide the heavens, allowing light to bleed, flowing in a stream. And as I breathe it in, I begin to touch perfection. Whoa, as I am swept away, this is what I dream. I dream that I can see a light eternal. I dream a path of life intrinsically free. I dream the path towards the light. It shall unveil a place where to become is all you need. So let's raise a glass, do a dance and drink to the times we've had today. We'll take care of tomorrow. Sing and smile for a while. We're all alone until the boat will come to take me home. Well, I break my neck returning to the city. I break my neck escaping this fair place. But I have learned what I have learned, and now I must move on to meet tomorrow's elements face to face. Let's not forget the whistle-tuned magic. Let's not forget the rhythm and the rhyme. Let's live like kings for one last grand occasion, oh, and burn the fire bright one last time. So let's raise a glass, do a dance and drink to the times we've had today. We'll take care of tomorrow, tomorrow. Sing and smile for a while. We're all alone until the boat will come to take me home. one is Lake with a Million Diamonds. um, cool. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you again for joining me, guys. This is fun. This is a little bit absurd, a little bizarre for me. Again, this is my first live stream, so just to be, performing here uh, with all you people, but no one in the room with me is a bit surreal. Um, I do often play music alone. I just don't often play music alone with a bunch of cameras pointing at me or phones or whatever. Uh, so yeah, that was Lake with a Million Diamonds. That's um, yeah, um, sort of me moving out of high school into my 20s, and really kind of wondering what did I want to do with my life. I've always been I went through a number of different phases through school, and at this point in time, kind of graduating from high school, I knew I was an artist. I knew I was a creative person, and I wanted to create. And I thought, but I'm not a very business-minded person, So the idea of the music industry was seemed very foreign to me. And I'm also a fairly, I don't know, I guess as you can notice from my music, I'm a fairly introspective person. So it wasn't necessarily um, the easiest fit for me to think about how do I pursue a career in music. This is early 2000s. So the way to make it in the music industry in Toronto, as it I don't know what it's like today. I mean, I live in Winnipeg now, but at that time it was you got to go put yourself out there, um, and that was always a challenge for me. You know, I like to create, um, and I do like to share, but the idea of like being bold, going to a bunch of open mics, coffee houses, especially when there's just I don't know. You guys know this. There's just so much talent out there. There's so many people who are built for the spotlight, who are built for a show, showmen, show people, show persons. And I always kind of wished I could be one of those people, but it always, again, the sort of round peg square hole, it just felt like it didn't quite fit for me. But I certainly I kept writing music, you know and and I guess in my early 20s, maybe I was around 20 years old. So again, this would be about 20 years ago, 19, 20 years ago. I kept writing music, and I wrote a song that was, song is called Taxi. And like Philiptic, I think that for me, writing kind of hip hop, acoustic hip hop, rap music was a chance for me to not necessarily focus on just one theme, but for me to allow and embrace, I don't want to say madness, but I want to say like maybe multiple ideas at once, to be able to merge a bunch of different things. So Taxi is a song where the chorus is take a taxi called telepathy inside my mind. It's either coming or it's going or it's left behind, which I don't know what that means, but it rhymes and I liked it. So um, again, this one's a little bit of a journey, a chance to have a lyrical journey with a bit of a rhythm, um, and maybe as you've noticed with some of my music, there's some sort of religious themes. I like kind of religious philosophical themes um, in my music, and so there's religious themes. There are sort of some. This song also has a few environmental themes, and just thinking about, again, this is early 2000s when I wrote this, so it was pre the social media that we have today, but we've always, I mean, for my whole life, there's been a bit of an assault of information and technology, and it's been a bit um, a bit of work for me to cut out the noise, to drown out the noise and see myself and what do I actually think? What do I actually believe? Um, and then also seeing what is popular, what sells, and seeing the news cycle, people being very interested in. I don't think it's wrong to cover, war and conflict, but it is a bit wild to me how that is so prevalent in the news, and it was at the time as well when I wrote this song. So those are a few of the themes that sort of this song touches on. But it was again a chance for me to think about the world around me and how do I fit into this? What is my voice? I'm someone who loves to create. I like to create more than I like to consume. So, like if I listen to a little bit of music, good music, I'll get inspired right away and I want to go out and write some music. Same thing with movies or plays or whatever. I like to create more than I like to consume. So, kind of rambling here. This song is called Taxi. And yeah, wrote it about 20 years ago. Take a taxi call, telepathy inside my mind. It's either coming or it's going or it's left behind. Take a taxi, got telepathy inside my mind. It's either coming or it's going or it's left behind. We're gonna find designs of real and rhyme, and also in wine. Secret passageways to discover another cover, a lover, a brother, a mother, a little girl with a hovering halo above you. Want to stuff in your subtle land of your sack, but a knick-knack pack is what your back lacks, perhaps. In the world of the waking, where the children of God are sitting there for the taking, the forsaken, just good a chance of making it to heaven as the 11th brethren his. But this is not reality. It's my mind and the headed to the library to see what we see beneath the salt of the seas. It is the demons we please call it catastrophe. Chapter 1, theory of beginnings of life. Before the pain of starvation, before existence of strife, there was a peace and sanctity of harmony. The Father children coincide peacefully. Was the Garden of Eden described as heavenly, but it was not meant to be. Believe snake in a tree. Oh, no. Skip that, go ahead, chapter 76, dedicated to the laying and destruction of bricks. If you like mass media, this is your fix. I'm talking burning children in the atomic apocalypse. Take a taxi call, telepathy inside my mind. It's either coming or it's going or it's left behind. Take a taxi, got telepathy inside my mind. Press power on, stop, rewind. We gotta read past our exile from the God. Fully comprehend the situation to be pardoned of our sins upon the universe in the form of the planet Earth. Let me cut it down to size, perhaps you can see, represented in the form of an analogy. The other day, I woke to find the more catastrophe had befallen humankind. 11,700,000 died today from Aslan, plus the raining bones from the sky had to then flee the sun's rays. For all the old raiders, it's a thin red haze. The political cause reaction was a memory. What occurs when you fail every retreat? Take a taxi call, catastrophe for humankind to realize too late that we were blind. What's gonna happen in the future's gonna blow your mind if we don't do something. Everybody die. So they all die. So take a taxi. Take a taxi. Take a taxi. Take a taxi. That is not how that song's supposed to end. Again, I'm not a professional musician. Usually I just play these songs for my own pleasure. So welcome to my imperfect world. Yeah, sorry, that song was also I played that a little bit fast. There is a version of this song. I believe there's a version of the song on my YouTube channel if you're interested. And the lyrics are in the description of that video if you're interested. I'd love to, at one point, play that song a little bit better for you guys to kind of get the impact of it all. I used to play a lot more music when I was younger. I kind of pursued a bit of a musical career at one point. But now, these days, I just play music for fun. So, as you could tell, I haven't practiced that song a whole bunch recently. It's a bit of a word salad as well. Man, but when it hits, it's good. So apologies. Hopefully, some of that song was a little bit um, good for you. I don't know. So yeah, that was Taxi. Um, all right, we're just moving right along. This is another song that I haven't played actually in a while. Um, so a couple years ago, I went sober. Um, uh, just a few years ago, but I wrote this song long before that. Again, this is sort of early 20s. um, and something that I also love. I mean, yes, I love playing music. I love being creative. I love community. I love collaborating with people. I love yeah, getting excited about singing songs together. Again, for those of you who are just joining or maybe don't know me that well, my name is Paul. I'm a Mennonite, and I was raised um, singing harmony, singing harmony with people. So when I first started writing music, this was in Ontario with a group of friends who are also all Mennonites, and we kind of wanted to be rock stars. We loved, again, like I said, I grew up listening to Simon and Garfunkel and kind of Bob Dylan, and there's sort of people that I really looked up to, and I had some other friends who also loved, Neil Young and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, like CSNY, and these are like old folk groups. There are more modern groups that we liked as well, but the sort of I sort of feel like the '60s and '70s always really inspired me and my friends, um, and sort of the folk rock kind of movement that came out of that. So yeah, by the by, in my early 20s, I was playing music with a bunch of friends, and this song is called Record Man, which was, I like it. It's a nice song to play by myself, but it's a song that's just great to sing and play in harmony as well. I think I should probably um, play this song with some people here in Winnipeg, and put a video out so that you guys can hear the song with harmony, because I think that really is a great way that it comes across. It's a simple song. It's called Record Man, and it's kind of just about a minstrel who inspires you, and just the sort of that. I don't know if any of you have this sort of dream, this dream idea of a musical muse, like again, like a minstrel who walks along the beach and inspires people uh, everywhere he goes, and plays music, and is sort of a wandering musician. That sort of vaguely was an idea in my head, and something that I kind of aspired to, I guess, in my 20s. Um, so this song is called Record Man. Hey, Mr. Record Man, won't you spread your love across the land for all people to see? The music is what will set them free. And then you come to my abode, casting off your heavy load. And perhaps we can take the time to eat some cheese and drink some wine. We can sit up on the tiled floor, wondering what the music's for. Then we'll run out to the sea, and with the music be set free. Hey, Mr. Record Man, won't you spread your love across the land for all the people to see? That music's what will set them free. Then you come to my abode, casting off your heavy load. And perhaps we can take the time to eat some cheese and drink some wine. We can sit up on the tiled floor, Wonder what the music's for. Then we'll run out to the sea with the music. Be set free. Be set free. Oh, that one was okay. Okay. That's Record Man. Yeah. So again, that song sounds really good with harmony, and maybe I'll put out a video at some point where you can hear that with harmony. Uh, okay, we are moving along. I've got a pretty tricky song that I could play. Yeah, that might be a good song to play right now. So again, sort of going through my 20s. Um, I continued to be sort of inspired. Yeah, I've always loved fantasy and science fiction and sort of escapism. I grew up again traveling around the world, but I also loved sort of reading um, Lord of the Rings and the Chronicles of Narnia and and watching Star Wars. And watching Star Trek and sci-fi and fantasy has always sort of inspired me. And and learning how to write music and create and write stories sort of in my 20s, I started to develop my own artistic voice and think, well, um, how can I kind of contribute to this world? What is my voice when it comes to fantasy, when it comes to storytelling, ancient tales? uh, so I wrote a song. This next song is called The Unknown Convict's Tale, and it's kind of, hmm I mean, it's a little bit ambiguous in terms of, is it a fantasy story? Is it um, is it a historical story? I don't know. I didn't really want to pin that down. I just wanted to tell the story of a convict who was on a ship that encountered a storm, and the ship went down. And and this is a man who was just forgotten, someone who would be forgotten. In a way, everything he did was for nothing. uh, and for some reason, that kind of idea really inspired me. Just thinking about the lost, the forgotten, the just the human experience, and we spend so much time focusing on kings and presidents and politicians and champions, and we don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about downtrodden, oppressed people, and people who are, in some ways, we might think of them as like just a number, but yeah, people are people. And so so yeah, this song is called "The Unknown Convict's Tale." I think it's probably, I would guess it's a fantasy song. It's not fantastical. Like, there's not, it's a guy, a convict in a storm. There's no like dragons or sea monsters or anything. But I guess I sort of started to imagine that I was, in my own way, building the beginnings of a mythology. That was me telling my own story through the lens of mythology, right? So this is The Unknown Convict's Tale. It starts off with a poem. So here we go. It was a gray September morn, which rose and fell to wound adorn their backs as they walked to the ship. The Alexandretta was her name, as strong and fast as she was long. And as they onto her decks came, the prisoners sang this ancient song. Every raindrop has a reason, destiny, lest we forget. For every tree there is a season, sure as it rises the sun will set. 8 days or more after that morn, with every port a week away, the vessel ran into a tempest storm and sank beneath the ocean waves. There was a man named Jeremy who was in chains as she set sail. In chains he fell beneath the sea. This is the unknown convict's tale. The prisoner sat shackled on the floor, contemplating what he had done. As a drizzle outside washed into a downpour, foreshadowing what was to come, the Alexandretta held high her head, never losing form, and with empty mast she made to last, rode into a storm. I wish, thought he, that I could be a cleric or a priest, to pray about my troubles, of which crime would be the least. Forgiveness, it seems, lives only in dreams, walking not on this earth, but his place is the same. His wishing in vain, left to chuckle without any mirth. The winds of the tempest began to blow, and the captain said, "Come what may." But beneath him, in the cabins below, the prisoners began to pray, standing still, surveying secrets, sorrowfully said, he vowed his vice would virtuously cease upon the ocean bed. There was a man named Jeremy who fell beneath the sea. A nation slept, bereft of any memory of he. The ocean smashed the vessel as the rain began to pour, and a man in chains escaped his bane, sinking to the ocean floor. Take this time and use it as you will. For all my woven wanderings, I lay them on your windowsill. I contemplate the days grow shorter, days in order. I pray it's not too late to say goodbye, too late to try and fly away, 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 away. I don't know if that song cut off partway through. Maybe it did. Anyway, that was the Unknown Convict's Tale. Uh, I would love, yeah, that's another one that I love to record a video. I don't think I've recorded a video of that one and put out there. That one, yeah, that one is another one that's just been a great kind of companion for me throughout my life since I wrote it. It just always takes me to, the sea. It takes me to that place, wherever that song goes. I don't. It's hard to it's hard to put songs into words necessarily, but that song has an emotional quality that lives in me, and it's nice to share and express sometimes. So thank you so much for um, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here and sharing this moment with me. Again, this is my first live stream ever. Um, I'm seeing a comment from Yassine, and thanks. Oh, thanks so much, Yassine. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you being here and watching. Um, I'm actually, yeah, and I don't know if there's more comments. I can see comments from people who want to join, and I don't know how to do that. Sorry, again, this is my first live stream, so I'm just learning the ropes. Um, I guess it'd be good to know if, like, I think I just wanted to do this for an hour. So this has been about an hour now. And this is sort of a time that works for me, for me here in Winnipeg, this is a morning. Um, and whoever's available for this time, that's great. Thank you so much. Uh, would you like to see more stuff like this? I feel like I've gone through a few songs, and there's a lot more songs that I've written that I'd love to share. Um, I also would love to do other live experiences and experiment with this form in other ways. Like I said, I love exploring my city. I think it might be fun to do like a live, like a hike, or make coffee, in a weird, strange place. Um, but I think probably the main thing that I like doing is I like storytelling. and sharing things that are kind of personal to me. And yeah, the fact that you guys have joined me for this is it really means a lot. So yeah, we'll see how I feel after I end this live stream. But I'm guessing that I'm going to want to do some more live things. And again, I'd love to do more music like this, and maybe even some other kind of live experiences. There's also, besides playing original music, there are songs that I've sort of learned throughout my life that have informed me that I would love to play and perform as well. And I know that I also need to get better at interacting with people who are joining me, because it's a conversation. You know, I'm here and you're there, and we're in this space together, which is really cool. Um, Definitely makes me feel a little less um, alone in the world, and being able to share some of these thoughts and feelings. It's nice to share these things and to say them and articulate them out loud. Hopefully, you guys have gotten something out of this. Maybe, maybe something of value. I hope so. If not, boo. I'll try better next time. I know that at least I've gotten something out of this, being able to express and share these things. Hopefully, maybe something's resonated with you guys. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna end the stream now if I can figure out how to do that. And uh, and yeah, I'm gonna try this again another time, and maybe you'll join me next time. Maybe not. It's all good. You don't have to. No pressure. But I hope you guys, yeah, have a great rest of your day or night or whatever you're doing. Um, Thanks for watching, and now you can watch me awkwardly try to end the stream. Thanks again. Good, and thank you.